Well, as you may be aware, it's been a very active weekend, I would say, the past 48 hours. So the Republican President Hakainde Hichilema, was on the cover belt over the weekend, and something unfortunate happened in Chingola, and that's what dominated the news the past couple of 48 hours. So that's what's being reported here in the daily. The declaration says, remove Hakainde Hichilema with votes, not stones, at Davis. So stoning Hichilema in Chingola must be condemned by all Zambians. So different sections of society are reacting to what happened in Chingola, where the president was held with stones as he was trying to address the marketeers. As you may be aware, there should be a market in Chingola got bent, and the president went there to offer solidarity and offer a 10 million kwacha help, or from his, it should have been from his own pocket, from what was announced, not government resources. But there were other young people that got involved, and that's what led to that stoning and stuff. But let me give you the details as the news proceeds. And then obviously the Patriotic Front are having a field day with this. They say the best is to send your maps to Chingola to sing Aleteka. Zambians love your maps. So the PF is simply saying, hey, what happened to the president is nothing. If Yomaps was to dare to go and sing that song that he recently did for President Hakainde Hichilema, should have been like a month ago or less than a month, in fact, you would get worse than what happened. That's the PF, obviously. And then the Daily Nation says, don't take your luck too far. So as President Hakainde Hichilema warns Chingola residents who stoned his motorcade on Saturday. So those are some of the extracts that have come from that engagement on the Go Board, simply saying, don't take your luck too far. And then obviously Mwalitate from the UPND also had a press briefing, should have been like less than 20 hours ago. Yesterday pretty much. And some of the highlights, as reported by Nkani, says, United Party for National Development, UPND Lusaka province chairperson Mwalitate says 15,000 youths from Lusaka wanted to travel to the Cobra Belt on Saturday to respond to the Chingola incident, but the party stopped them. He said this today while reacting to youths who disrupted President Hichilema's address in Chingola. So he says he wanted to send 15,000 youths. I don't know what they were supposed to go and do on the Cobra Belt, but yeah, that's Maritata's statement. And then obviously people are reacting to it to say, if 15,000 youths can fit in 8 buses, then we can eliminate load shedding with that technological advancement. So people are just laughing at Maritata's logic to say, how can you fit 15,000, even if you had to get those the best of the on the market coach buses? I think the biggest should be like 70-seater, if I'm not mistaken. So now 70-seater buses, 8 of them, how can they fit 15,000? So people are just laughing at this logic to say that number and the buses that he says he wanted you to travel to the Cobra Belt and handle the Chingola youths, whichever way he means by that. And obviously, someone, Evans with in the comment section simply says one bus would have carried approximately 1,875 youths. There's no bus on earth that is able to carry that much people. 1,875 for him to feed the 15,000 youths that he says were UPND wanted to go and handle Chingola youths. Just politics at play here, really. He's trying to stay relevant. And then Daily Nation says UPND will gather Hakainde Hichilema Mwalitate. He made a lot of statements from his press brief. So he says he vows to form his own security system and demands police command police command to resign on moral grounds. So Mwalitate says the UPND is going to form its own security, which is going to be guarding the president. Now, the question is, in what capacity? Because Zambia's security agencies are more than capable of defending the head of state. The police, the Zambia Army, the Air Force, ZNS, name it. And the president is a commander-in-chief of these of the armed forces. So I don't know in what capacity Moitete is going to organize some security detail of cadres that is able to protect the president, as opposed to people that have been trained to do that. I think it's just excitement and trying to stay relevant on this issue, because in what capacity? Because if you may be aware, some people have even been arrested from what happened on the Cobble Belt, and most of the nation at large has reacted in approval to say yes, those that committed a crime at hailing stones at the president should face the wrath of the law, and people have no issues with that. Now, let's take for instance this security team or detail that might wants to be protecting the president. If they were to inflict any arrests of people like that, in what capacity, what law would they be using to do that? So that's just hooliganism. If you look at it, it's trying to go back to the days of the Nakalimanshi in the PF, pretty much cadreism, trying to empower cadres to become like the security detail of the president. The president does not need that. The armed forces and the police are more than capable of handling that. So whatever game is trying to push here or to stay relevant does not make any logical sense, really. The police is able to do that. The armed forces are able to protect the president. So that clique is trying to form to protect the president is of no use, really. And obviously, part of the extra to say UPND provincial chairperson over Smited, then wants the number of people in that video. He put up a lot of statements. I don't know if it's emotions or whatever, but yeah, in that press brief. And then mass newspaper, they would have nared you. Hichilema tells Chingola youths he saved them in 2021. And then obviously that's aside from Chingola, the president had a number of engagements on the cover belt. So that's a statement that's been extracted from the president by the mass newspaper there. And then obviously Barbara Musamba says, Moiteta, your daughter is in bristles, eating because you as a father is connected. Those people's lives revolves around sincerity. So she's simply arguing to say, Moiteta, he can issue those statements because those around him and his daughter in particular is in benefiting by the post that she's got because he's connected. Now, I was addressing it should have been like a month ago, if I'm not mistaken, where you're saying no, it's because she qualifies and whatever. But people are saying, people argue otherwise. They say it's because of his proximity to power. That's why she was able to have that position. But anyway, she's a Zambian. She's entitled to have that, really. It is what it is. But this is the official statement that has come from Jack Mwimbu. This is the Minister of Home Affairs. And according to reports reported by the UPND, it says, the number of suspects arrested in connection with Saturday's Chingola riot and arson incident jumps from 5 to 13 within 48 hours. So, Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Honorable Jack Mwimbu, says the number of suspects arrested in connection with the incident where an unruly mob disrupted President Hakainde Hichilema's address in Chingola's Chibwempala market on Saturday has risen from 5 to 15 over the last 48 hours. During a press briefing at the ministry's headquarters in Lusaka on Monday morning, Mr. Mwimbu said the Chibwempala incident, which threatened the life of the Republican president, was totally unacceptable, and the Zambia police and other security wings were taking decisive action to bring the lawbreakers to book. He said they commenced a thorough investigation will target both the perpetrators and the sponsors, as preliminary investigations have established that that the riot and arson incident was orchestrated by some individuals, but the motive is yet to be established. Mr. Mwimbu said the new donor administration will not tolerate lawlessness from whichever quarters it was coming from. More especially that government has always been open to dialogue whenever citizens felt they had important issues they wanted to address. And that's the way to handle it. Excellently said by Minister of Home Affairs. The security wings are more than capable of handling this issue, definitely. The police and everything that is mentioned there, not that the fracas is trying to bring up where he's trying to protect the president. In what capacity, really? Sit down, let's be honest here. So what Jack Mwimbo said, that's the format. They arrest them, the police arrest them, and the security wings take charge. That's the legal way. Any other alternative of forming some sort of militia to protect the president is totally unnecessary. This is not a banana republic. This is the government that works. This is a country that works with laws and structures. We've got security wings that are more than capable of protecting our president. Simple as that. Real Times says, respect the office of the president. Reverend Mutale denounces attack on Hakainde Hichilema and calls political players and CSOs to do the same. So obviously, this news is dominating the airwaves all over the place. And then Mashaka Akashambata says, Mr. President, Hakainde Hichilema, please go back to Chingola. We want to see something very quickly. And then someone asks him to say, what do you want to see? Say you want to use the president for your experiment car, and he says yes. So I don't know, he's trying to test the waters. But he says the president should go back to Chingola for him to see something. What is he trying to see really? And then obviously Minister of Transport also said some statement where he said if he was also in Chingola, he would have handled issues differently, and probably President Hakainde Hichilema would have even fired him the way he would have handled the issue. So it's good that he wasn't within Chingola. So, and then obviously Bablam Samba simply mocks him to saying that because he knows there are people around him that are able to do that. Everybody's trying to use alternative means. That does not work. And then Liswaniso says, by youth Takeover belt, we are coming. And people are simply saying, yes, go and engage the youths. And this should be like the national youth chairperson for UPND. Go and engage the youths and have a dialogue and rallies. That's the way it works. Not that format of forming some security apparatus around the president. The police are able to handle that and everybody else. And then Barbara said a statement that is interesting. So she writes a letter to President Hakainde Hichilema, and she says, this is Samba Barbara Chama, and she says, Dear President Hichilema, subject a plea for clarity and caution. The recent incident in Chiwempala Market, where confusion led to unrest and a serious matter, is a serious matter. However, I urge you to see it not as a call for an iron fist, but a message that needs decoding, she says. The people pushing you towards a heavy-handed response are the same greedy people who profit from these same minds everywhere. They are not serving your vision or the people's interest. Please, sir, correctly decode the stones or the stone that was potted. Look past the anger, its root, and look past the anger to its root cause. Ignore those that are ignore those who have full ambitions and empty of genuine concern for citizens they claim to represent. Sincerely, Musamba Barbara. So she's simply saying the president should simply not follow that format some individuals in the UPND are trying to advocate for, but simply address the issue as she stated in that letter to the president. What else is in the news? And then obviously the PF said Kuyavevere Chingola, obviously there have been a field day with that. And then Moritator's response during the address has been reported there. So UPND condemns the recent stoning of Hakainde Hichilema in Chingola, calls for culprits to be charged with treason. So there's that call for people to be charged with treason, those that are found guilty. And then they put up MMD dollar, the exchange rate, to say, you know what that is. And then Jerabo's caused confusion. Obviously, that's in the Sunday Nation. This news has dominated the airwaves everywhere. HH explains the Tanzania trip. You remember that. Chaos in Chingola. As angry youths stone Hakainde Hichilema's motorcade, bend down police van. And obviously, no violence. Hakainde Hichilema, that's in the Times of Zambia. What else? Chingola, hailstones. Obviously, that's in the Real Times. That president. Hakainde Hichilema assures on Sensei government will ensure safe mining continues. And then obviously Let's not go back to thuggery. Hakainde Hichilema tells Copper Belt youths. So Simpson says, calm down, don't go back to thuggery. Part of the statements there. Yeah, I think that's the news, ladies and gentlemen. Have a beautiful day.